Have you ever walked into your garden in the morning and felt completely frustrated? The lettuce looked perfect yesterday. Your young seedlings were finely growing. Everything seemed healthy. Then overnight, it's like something attacked your garden. Leaves are full of holes. Tender shoots have vanished. New plants look chewed down to almost nothing. And the strangest part? You never see the culprit. No caterpillars, no rabbits, no obvious pests crawling around in daylight. Yet the damage keeps getting worse. What if I told you that the real reason slugs keep destroying your garden isn't because you have too many slugs? It's because your garden may be giving them exactly what they want. And once you understand what attracts them, you can make your garden far less inviting, often without using harsh chemicals. The truth is that most gardeners fight the wrong battle. They focus on killing slugs, but successful gardeners focus on removing the conditions that allow slugs to thrive in the first place. And that's exactly what we're going to uncover today. Because once you know the hidden reason slugs love your garden, you'll start seeing your yard in a completely different way. Let's begin. Most people think slugs appear because of rain. Rain certainly helps them, but rain isn't the real reason they stay. Slugs are looking for three things: moisture, shelter, and food. If your garden provides all three, you've essentially created a luxury resort for slugs, and they have no reason to leave. Let's start with moisture. A slug's body is made mostly of water. Unlike many insects, slugs lose moisture very quickly when exposed to heat and sunlight. That's why they prefer to come out at night, during cool mornings, after rainfall, or on cloudy days. The darkness protects them. The moisture keeps them alive, and your garden becomes their feeding ground. This explains why many gardeners never actually see the slugs causing the damage. The attack happens while they're asleep. By sunrise, the slugs are already gone, or at least that's what it looks like. In reality, they're usually hiding nearby. And this brings us to one of the biggest mistakes gardeners make. They search for slugs on the plants. But slugs often spend the day somewhere else entirely. Under flower pots, beneath wooden boards, inside piles of leaves, under rocks, near dense ground cover, in cracks in the soil, anywhere cool, dark, and damp. If you only inspect your plants, you might never find the source of the problem. Meanwhile, dozens of slugs may be hiding just a few feet away. This is why some gardens seem permanently infested. The slugs already have safe shelters nearby. And speaking of shelter, that's the second thing slugs desperately need. Think about your yard for a moment. Do you have unused pots sitting in a corner? Stacks of wood? Dense mulch that stays wet for days? Piles of leaves? Overgrown areas that rarely receive sunlight? To a gardener, these may seem harmless. To a slug, they're luxury apartments. Every hiding place increases the chances that slugs will survive the day and return the following night. The more shelters available, the more comfortable the environment becomes. And comfortable slugs reproduce. Which brings us to food. Because even if your garden has moisture and shelter, slugs won't stay if there's nothing worth eating. Unfortunately, many of the plants gardeners love most are also slug favorites. Young lettuce, basil, hostas, strawberries, fresh seedlings, tender vegetable sprouts, new growth on ornamental plants. These soft, juicy tissues are easy for slugs to consume. It's like offering them an all-you-can-eat buffet. And when a reliable food source exists close to shelter and moisture, slugs often establish themselves permanently. Now here's something many people don't realize. A single slug can lay dozens of eggs, sometimes even more. These eggs are usually hidden beneath debris, inside moist soil, or under sheltered objects. Because they're hidden so well, gardeners rarely notice them. Then suddenly, a few weeks later, the slug population seems to explode. What looked like a minor issue becomes a major infestation almost overnight. But before we talk about solutions, there's one important question. How do you know slugs are actually responsible? The answer is usually written right in front of you. The slime trail. That shiny silver path you sometimes notice across leaves, garden beds, stones, or containers. This trail is one of the clearest signs of slug activity. It's essentially their signature. If you see these trails early in the morning, there's a very good chance slugs visited your garden during the night. Now let's talk about what you can actually do. The first step is reducing shelter. This sounds simple, but it's incredibly effective. Remove piles of leaves. Organize wood stacks. Clear unnecessary debris. Check beneath pots regularly. Reduce dark, damp hiding places whenever possible. The fewer places slugs have to hide, the harder it becomes for them to establish a population. The second step surprises many gardeners. Water your garden in the morning, not at night. Evening watering creates perfect conditions for slugs. The soil remains moist exactly when they're becoming active. Morning watering gives excess moisture time to evaporate throughout the day. This simple change alone can make a noticeable difference. Another powerful strategy is nighttime inspection. Grab a flashlight and visit your garden after dark. You may be shocked by what you discover. Many gardeners find far more slugs than they ever imagined. More importantly, you'll learn exactly where they're coming from. That information is incredibly valuable, because once you identify their hiding spots, you can target the source instead of constantly treating the symptoms. Now let's discuss some popular home remedies. One of the oldest methods involves beer traps. A shallow container filled with beer and buried at soil level can attract slugs. Many gardeners have used this technique for decades. Another common method uses crushed eggshells around vulnerable plants. The rough texture can make movement more difficult and less appealing. Coffee grounds are also popular. Some gardeners spread them around plants because the texture and scent may help discourage slug activity. Results vary depending on conditions, but many people find them useful as part of a broader strategy. However, there's something even more powerful than traps: nature itself. Slugs have natural predators: frogs, toads, ground beetles, certain birds. Creating a garden that welcomes these helpful creatures can significantly reduce slug numbers over time. Healthy ecosystems often solve problems that chemicals only temporarily suppress. And perhaps the most effective lesson of all is this: stop thinking about slugs. Start thinking about slug habitat. Because slugs don't attack your garden simply because they like your plants. They stay because your garden provides everything they need: moisture, shelter, food. Remove one of those factors and you'll see improvement. Reduce two and you'll see even more. Reduce all three and your garden becomes far less attractive. That's when the real transformation begins. The gardeners who win the battle against slugs aren't necessarily the ones using the strongest products. They're the ones who understand why slugs arrived in the first place. And once you understand that, you're no longer reacting to the problem. You're preventing it. If you've ever battled slugs in your garden, tell us in the comments which plant they attack most often where you live. And if you enjoy practical garden secrets, natural solutions, and surprising facts about the creatures living in your backyard, make sure to subscribe. Because sometimes the biggest garden problems have surprisingly simple solutions. And this is one of them.